Welcome back to the podcast. My name is R.E. This is the start of a new series, the Gems of Wisdom series, and I'm going to be going through a book called Gems of Wisdom by Swami Satchidananda and reading small quotes and analyzing it, commenting on it, and sharing my own stories, applying my own personal perspectives, experiences, and wisdom, and seeing what gems of wisdom we can all learn. So this is a book that's published by Integral Yoga Publications, and I'm just going to read a little from the back cover to give you a little background on who Swami Satchidananda is if you don't know who this is. So it says, he was one of the first yoga masters to bring the classical yoga tradition to the West. Invited to America in 1966 by iconic pop artist Peter Max, he taught yoga postures, meditation, and a compassionate vegetarian lifestyle. And there's more about it, about how he was quote-unquote the Woodstock guru, which is pretty interesting. But I'm going to get into the quote for today's episode, and this is about discipline. What many people fear about discipline. This is a quote from the book from page 1. Quote unquote, many people feared that discipline means a lack of freedom, a repressed or joyless life. All right, I got to start over reading that quote. That was terrible. All right. Many people fear that discipline means a lack of freedom, a repressed or joyless life. Without discipline over our mind, where is the joy? With that control, you can enjoy anything you want. Nothing is dangerous to you then. And this is what many have wrong about discipline. People think that discipline is a bad thing. We have all these fears about discipline. And this is also a good point about fear. That anything that is based on fear, it's wrong. It's incorrect. I don't care what it is. Anything that you fear, there is no need to fear it. If you heard the old cliche saying, the only thing to fear is fear itself. You don't even need to fear fear itself. But fear is never going to guide you to making the correct decision in any situation. People fear that discipline means a lack of a freedom or a lack of joy in life and not actually having fun. Well, in reality, it's the opposite is true. You're really not free unless you practice discipline. And if you've been with us for a while in this podcast on this journey, you'll remember the episode I made on discipline called Self-Discipline is Freedom. That was one of the first ones. And in this, I discussed how the quote-unquote small things really do add up because there really are no small decisions. Every single decision you make, no matter how big or small it seems, these are all relative, will add up and either help you to master your mind or to become its servant or its slave, whichever word resonates with you a little more. Joy is found when you can control your mind. Joy is found when you can control your mind. And this obviously takes years of practice, years of consistency, years of patience, and years of discipline. And it's absolutely possible. Just because Swami Satchidananda is a yoga master and has been doing it for 60 years and it seems completely out of reason, take from example from me. I've been doing this for about 3.5 years now. And I used to have zero control of my mind, over my mind. But through a daily practice of meditation and cold showers, I've gained more control each day. These things all require discipline. And I've been on this mind journey, this personal development journey, this spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it, for the past 3.5 years now. And I've seen the progress I've made in such a short amount of time. So I just know that if I keep doing this every day after 5 years, after 10 years, after 15 years, after 20 years, maybe after 50 or 60 years, I can be like the Swami. But that's a big goal to aim for. I'll probably just focus on being me for now. But when you can't control your mind, you're at the mercy of your thoughts. You're at the mercy of your mind. The joy seems to be taken away. It's not that having discipline is a lack of joy. It's really that a lack of discipline leads to a lack of joy. And when you're no longer the master, I don't know what's getting up. I don't know. When you're no longer the master of your mind, you become the slave. You become the servant to the ego, to the mind. You can enjoy anything when you control your mind. You can literally enjoy anything when you control your mind, because you also know moderation. And moderation and discipline go hand in hand. So, did this quell your fears about discipline? I know a lot of people have these similar fears about discipline, so let me know what you think. Do you still fear discipline? Do you think that it's worthy now? Let me know what you think.